Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino lists every game he's played this month. This month being March of 2023. Took a long break from this kind of video that never should have happened, but we're back with some new releases, big and small, plus some older games that came out between this video and the last one from May 2021 that have endured and have me still playing them to this day. Number 1, Marvel Snap. Just a really simple card game. Control 2 out of 3 lanes and total power to win, 6 quick turns of varied strategies utilizing your favorite Marvel characters, or more accurately, a bunch of obscure unknowns who have better effects than the recognizable ones. Still, it's addicting. I've kept up with it almost every day since about a month after it launched in early access in October. Number 2, Hitman 3. The new Freelancer mode that came as part of the somehow free World of Assassination update brought me back to Hitman in a big way. They introduced a roguelike game mode where you take on chosen contracts in sequence with different targets and challenges while trying to build up a good collection of gear without failing and having to restart the whole randomized 18-mission campaign. It made me fall back in love with the game and provided plenty of frustration as I attempted to refresh my memory of every important detail in the 20 different maps. It's an advanced mode for advanced players, but it makes you get better, and as a result you have more fun. Number 3, Fire Emblem Engage. Engage came out in January, but the multiple waves of DLCs and free small updates have kept me keeping up with everything so I can eventually make some more content with the game. The final wave comes out April 5th and probably won't include my sorely missed New Game Plus feature, so fuck me, but the DLC emblem rings have proven to be all kinds of broken, and more past characters are nice to see in here. Just don't ask me to play a maddening difficulty Iron Man ever again. You didn't ask the first time, but still, don't do it twice out of nowhere. Number 4, Bone Razor Minions. If you like the Vampire Survivors, you aren't alone, because that game has started to spawn a few clones, and Bone Razor Minions is the best one. Summon minions to auto-attack hordes of enemies as you level up, upgrade your forces, unlock new classes, and try to hold out against the entire world trying to kill you. This game has much more variety than Vampire Survivors, so if you've run your course on that game like I have, then definitely give this a shot. Number 5, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. A spiritual successor to the Neo franchise, Wolong succeeds in capturing the spirit of the super fast-paced Souls-like action of its predecessor, a pure deflectathon. You can deflect and parry every attack in this game, even if it makes no sense, like an explosion or getting stepped on by a giant demon. If I were to compare this to Neo 2, since that's what everyone always wonders about, I'd say it can be as fun at times, but Neo 2 only had you deflecting unblockable attacks, so you still generally had to fight with people and outspace them and block stuff and punish whiffed moves. But in Wolong you can deflect anything, so the fights with regular enemies boil down to walk up to them, deflect their first attack, and then go nuts. That said, a place where Wolong really outshines pretty much every other game in its genre is the emphasis on rewarding exploration. In this game you have mission-specific player and enemy levels called morale levels, and higher-level enemies do more damage to you and take less damage from you comparatively. You get morale from killing enemies, so it incentivizes running all over the map and killing everyone you can. To add another layer to that, your character has a fortitude rank, which is basically a rising floor your morale can't drop below when you die. Dying resets your morale to its lowest possible point, but fortitude is permanent within the mission, so gaining fortitude is like solidifying your morale. You raise fortitude by finding battle flags scattered around the map, which also serve as checkpoints, so it is intrinsically rewarding to scour the whole area for multiple reasons, and I think more Souls-like games should do that. You still have a persistent character level you spend stuff on to improve stats and get stronger overall across everything, though. Some people complain the game is too easy, but there's a couple fights that'll put you through the ringer, and I don't mind a mostly relaxing romp through a genre that's otherwise so often known for its difficulty. Number 6, T'Challa? This game is basically Breath of the Wild meets Super Mario Odyssey, but like worse versions of both of those things. It's free on PS Plus, so I didn't lose anything trying it. It's not bad or anything, I just didn't find myself in a position to want to go do any of the stuff it wanted me to. T'Challa starts off by the developers telling you, hey, this game is based on a real culture on a real island off the coast of Australia called New Caledonia, where some of us grew up and we have New Caledonia people do some of the voices and songs and whatever. And I'm a mildly jaded individual, so stuff like that always just feels like pandering, not to the New Caledonians, but to people outside the culture who just inject cultural authenticity into their veins to feel good about themselves, that they played something unproblematic or some shit. The type of people who prefer the live-action Mulan to the old animated Mulan because it's more authentic, even though it sucks in comparison by miles as a piece of enduring media. I don't care if your game is culturally sensitive as much as I care if it's just good, and T'Challa is okay if you're still on board with this kind of open-world structure, even in the absence absence of any fleshed out core mechanics. Hell, they made every gameplay section skippable in the menu if you're just not feeling it. That's the kind of thing that just invites people to fall off your game in droves. The more shit you make skippable, the more people will skip it. I played for about an hour without skipping anything and just stopped playing after my first session, but technically I played the entire game, I just skipped it. This just strikes me as the indie game of 2023 that people are going to oversell. There's always one a year. Last year was Stray, the year before was It Takes Two. It's going to be an alright game that gets blown out of proportion, and half the reason will just be the fact that it's based on a real culture, so everyone's going to fangirl about the cultural impact and feel racist if they don't vote for it in every category of the Game Awards. Number 7, Blasto. OG PS1 Blasto, baby. I had fond memories of this game as a kid, and have spent the last couple years actively hoping Insomniac remakes it. They're not who made it initially, they're just the perfect studio to do it. Give Blasto some modern lock-strafe controls, put him in some more realized worlds and levels, that's an instant buy. Insert some Ratchet and Clank DNA in there. However, I played through it recently because it occurred to me that I had never beaten it as a kid, because as a kid that game will just chew you up and spit you out, and somehow I forgot how punishingly bullshit the entire core system is. The general idea of Blasto is moving through a level until an enemy spawns randomly out of nowhere and you shoot it before it can shoot you, because with tank controls you're not dodging anything. There's a strafe hop, but you'll still get hit by stuff even when you're strafing left and right, but that's basically the whole game. You walk and jump through the level until something spawns, you stop to shoot it, usually 3 or 4 enemies spawn at the same time and all shoot you from different angles, you take unavoidable damage, there's no health regen, just health pickups, you get chipped away little by little until you die, but you spawn immediately back on location like nothing happened, so you keep going until you beat the game or run out of lives. It's an objectively poorly designed game, and the more I went back through it, especially once you get to the sand area, it's just actual bullshit 24/7. You jump on a floating platform, 7 flying aliens spawn one after the other, zigzagging up to you and dodging all your bullets and just kill you until you're dead. But I still love Blasto as an IP, and I see great potential in it. He's like half Johnny Bravo and half Captain Quark. He flies across the galaxy and rescues babes of any color as long as they got polygons and a square ass. No uglies. If you're dumpy, you can be an alien slave forever, but if you're busty, you get on my ship this instant. Number 8, Crime Boss Rockay City. Any of you remember this announcement from the last Game Awards? Well, it came out, and boy was it not anything like what I expected. First of all, it's a roguelike. That shit blew me away. It's also an Epic Game Store exclusive, and that ain't doing it any favors, but not many favors would help because it's not very good. They got a bunch of 90s celebrities to deliver half-baked performances that don't make the game feel any classier or fancier for it. I thought it was going to be GTA, but apparently it's Payday, but worse, according to people I've seen who've played Payday, because I never did. You compete against other AI crime bosses to expand your territory by doing jobs and hiring crews in a roguelike campaign that resets when your main boss dies on a mission, and the lame story and nostalgically horrendous dialogue comes in at times across playthroughs to try and introduce stuff and keep the bare outline of the plot going. Remember in the late 2000s and early 2010s when games just had raw, terrible dialogue, like writing so undercooked it would give you salmonella, dialogue you couldn't believe ever found its way onto a page? Rockay City is full of it. Also, I'm just gonna come right out and say it, Chuck Norris is fucking lame in this game. His voice acting is some of the worst I've heard in quite some time, and he hasn't done anything cool at all so far in my 2 hours. At least it's cheap. It launched at a discount for $31, which makes sense for a roguelike. The celebrities are from the 90s, but this game came straight out of 2007. Bad writing, bad acting, the worst AI you've ever seen, the worst gunplay you've ever seen. I swear half these bullets just don't hit people you are directly magnetized to. Your gun barrel is pointing square between their empty eyeballs. You fire, the bullet disappears. It goes hitchhiking on the interstate. It reminds me of dreams I have sometimes, where I'll shoot a gun at someone trying to kill me and nothing comes out, just warm air. This game is literally a recurring nightmare. It has online co-op, which is neat, but good luck finding anyone to do that. Number 9, Hotel Renovator. If you liked House Flipper, come renovate a hotel. If there's a bone in your body that's partial to graphic design or the idea of turning a dilapidated, condemned mess into a 5-star hotel Taylor Swift would stay in, this game beats House Flipper in the convenience department, and you can definitely scratch the itch even better. It's kind of buggy, at least it was when I played it, but I still got 14 hours out of it. Number 10, Sunhaven. Stardew Valley clones are a dime a dozen, but this one's $25 and worth it. It's basically that game, but with a fantasy coat of paint and no stamina bar. Rejoice! You can upgrade skills by earning different skill XP from farming or fishing or engaging in monster combat, and you can learn spells that really help the day-to-day, like summoning a rain cloud to water a large amount of crops at once, or doing an AoE blast that breaks all mineable rocks in an area and gives you fast mining XP. I binged this game with my girlfriend for 12 hours straight the first time we played, and I wasn't just humoring her for a blowy, so take that as you will. Number 11, Contraband Police. Dude, the simulator games are no joke sometimes. There are some real winners out there. Contraband Police puts you in the red boots of a Russian customs agent at the border in the 80s, verifying people's passports, checking their cargo, and watching out for smugglers. If you find drugs or weapons, you can arrest the smugglers or accept bribes from them, turn over all contraband or sell it on the black market for a profit, drive prisoners to a labor camp, and sometimes get ambushed by people who want to break them out. It's one of those games that creates a lot of naturally funny moments. Sometimes a driver might hand you his papers and then immediately take off through the gate and you have to chase him down. One time I let a guy through whose papers were in order, and then 3 in-game days later I got in a head-on collision while I was driving back to the border crossing, killed the guy, got out and looked in the driver's seat, and it was the same guy who passed my inspection. Turns out his life was only worth $200 of docked pay, but what do you expect at a communist state? It's just a fun game. Definitely a hidden gem. Number 12, Resident Evil 4 Remake. No need to hold back here. The Resident Evil 4 Remake is probably the best game that's come out this year so far. I didn't play the original, I only got into Resident Evil after 7, and I've played every remake and sequel since, and lately these games have been so satisfying from an exploration and reward perspective, running around finding all the treasures and selling them to buy upgrades. The action is terrific. Ashley is the first escort mission that doesn't annoy me and is actually endearing, and sometimes she does something helpful and you're like a proud papa. Like one time I had her keeping a small bridge extended while I ran over there to get stuff. Then a regenerator spawned on my side, which is the most annoying enemy in the damn game, so I ran back to get to her side so she wouldn't be in danger just standing there in case more dudes showed up on her side too, and when I crossed back over the bridge, I turned around and got ready to blast this regenerator as it was chasing me, but once it stepped on the bridge without me even ordering it, she let go and dropped it into the bottomless chasm, and she was just like, yeah, I did it! And it was so cute, I hated it. There's also so many hidden layers to some of the situations. Like in the beginning, there's that giant horde encounter in the village that's on a timer, and the first time I did it, I stayed mostly outside and it went pretty normal, but on my second playthrough, I went inside the building where the first shotgun is, because I missed it the first time, and it triggered this whole new cutscene and gameplay instance where now all the dudes are trying to get to me in this building by breaking windows and trying to knock down the door, setting up ladders to get in on the second floor. Like it's a whole programmed thing you could just not encounter if you don't go in there. It's just a great time. I don't see it remaining game of the year the whole way through, but it's a great first quarter banger. Well, that's every game I played this month. Tune in next month for every game I played that month. Like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos with a wristwatch on both hands, and I'll see you guys next time.